So get set for some mind-blowing magic at 6:35 tonight. But right now, and in high definition on BBC One HD, it's Final Score.
Trying to avoid relegation.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters. Go! The latest score is Wimbledon. Go through to the Premier.
John Terry's tears, we all remember. It was 2 crucial weeks.
It's FA Cup third round weekend, and it's a Saturday afternoon that can bring excitement and upsets. Matt Holland will do his best to excite you. I can guarantee that Steve Claridge will upset you. Let's take a look at all the latest scores, shall we, in the FA Cup third round this afternoon. The early kick-off was at St Andrews, and the Championship side held Premier League Wolves to a goalless draw. Let me pick out a few other surprise results for you. Adrian Treslevich has equalised for non-league Wrexham. They're the leaders of the conference. They're at Championship Brighton. League 2 high flyers Crawley are holding Championship strugglers Bristol City. Dagenham and Redbridge, third bottom in the Football League. They earned a replay against Championship side Millwall in another early kick-off. A shock on the cards at the Keep Moat. Jeff Hughes has put League 1 side Notts County ahead. They've just scored a second there at the Keep Moat. Tamworth only a goal down at Premier League side Everton. Fleetwood have pulled one back at home to Blackpool through the highly rated Jamie Vardy. Despite falling behind at Gillingham, Stoke are now 3-1 up at the Priestfield Stadium. In the last 5 minutes, a stunning goal from Arnaud Mendy has put Macclesfield in front at home to Bolton. If the MK Dons beat QPR, then Rangers will equal the record for the longest run of FA Cup games without a win by a league side. It stands at 16. Dean Bowditch got the MK Dons goal. Newcastle have just equalised against Blackburn. Blackburn took the lead through David Goodwillie. The equaliser coming from Hatem Ben Arfa with 20 minutes to go. Shock on the cards at the Medeski. Stevenage's Darius Charles got the goal there in the first half. After falling behind to Wigan, Alan Connell's goal has Paolo Di Canio's side dreaming of a huge upset. Cheltenham of League 2 only 2-0 down at Premier League side Spurs. And just a couple of other games there. Watford of the Championship 4-1 up at home to Bradford. West Brom 3, Cardiff City 2. So I said it was 2-1 for Macclesfield against Bolton. But whilst I was saying that, there's been another goal. Richard Askham.
You're right there, I'm afraid to burst the bubble, chappers, but Bolton have equalised. David Wheater with a powerful header in off the post from a corner. Bolton had really been struggling, you know, all the ingredients for an FA Cup shock, which of course could still happen, were really on the cards. Bolton took the lead through Ivan Klasnic, but ever since Colin Daniel lashed in an equaliser for Macclesfield, they've really grown in confidence and stature and scored that stunning equaliser through Arnaud Mendy. The Frenchman spinning and volleying home from the edge of the box in one movement. It's not over yet, chappers, but Bolton have the equaliser.
Hartlepool lost their last 8 home league games in League 1, but they lead relegation-threatened Rochdale by a goal to nil. All Division 1 tie in the Scottish Cup, but Morton are now 2-1 up at Wraith through Peter MacDonald. We'll get details on Crawley's goal against Bristol City through their top scorer, Matty Tubbs, in a moment. But there's been a goal at the County Ground, where it was Swindon 1, Wigan 1. Are we on for an upset? Hamish Marshall.
We could well be. It's now Swindon 2, Wigan 1. We've got less than 15 minutes to go, and it's substitute Paul Benson who's got the goal. It was a shot from about 25 yards from the impressive Matt Ritchie. It was deflected by Benson past Al-Habsi, and Wigan, who did take the lead in this match through youngster Callum McManaman, who followed up a missed penalty, and then Swindon got themselves level. Alan Connell with a header. Swindon have been the better side, and now the scoreline reflects it. It's Swindon 2, Wigan 1.
Daniel Webb is the son of the Chelsea legend David Webb, who of course lifted the FA Cup back in 1970, scored the goal with a header, but he's put through his own net for Salisbury. Sheffield United 3, Salisbury 0. Let's go to Lindsay Hooper watching Crawley against Bristol City. She could tell us about Matt Tubbs' 17th of the season.
Yes, and the fans here, Crawley fans, are singing "We're going to Wembley." Thoroughly deserved to have the lead here. Crawley 1, Bristol City 0. Matt Tubbs took hold and controlled a lovely lofted ball. It was a really bad clearance, actually, from the Bristol City defence. And the lofted ball he controlled lovely, one-on-one with David James, and found the bottom right of the net. Very good goal, and they've thoroughly deserved it. Completely been in control here. So it's Crawley 1, Bristol City 0.
Let's hear about that unfortunate own goal then from Daniel Webb. Alan Biggs.
Yes, it's Sheffield United 3, Salisbury 0. Mark, let's take the positives for Salisbury. It's their day. They could have should have been absolutely obliterated here. So some credit to them that it's only 3. And that third goal, a Ched Evans shot deflected in of Danny Webb trying to intercept. Webb with a family steeped in cup history. His father David, the Chelsea Cup winner of 1970, is here today. So that probably rounds it off for Sheffield United. Chris Porter scored their first. The second rebounded in off Ched Evans, his 17th of the season, his 5th in the Cup. It's Sheffield United 3, Salisbury 0.
Chesterfield going for their first win in 16 league games in League One. Doesn't look like it's going to happen though, does it? John Sheridan's side behind to a Richard Logan goal for Exeter 12 minutes from time. Let's find out about another non-league side in the FA Cup. The conference leaders Wrexham at Brighton. They're holding their own. Andy Barwell.
Yes, fair play to Wrexham as well. A few arguments that they deserve to be level. In the first half, it was very hard to spot just who was the Championship side and who was from the Conference Premier. But it was Brighton who took the lead early in this second half. Jake Forster Kasky with a cool finish from inside the 6-yard box. But credit to Wrexham, they were level 14 minutes later. Terrific individual skill from Adrian Cheselvitz. Well, Brighton really trying to test the Wrexham keeper Jocelyn Maibi at the moment. His handling skills are showing a few signs for concerns for the visitors. At the moment, it's Brighton 1, Wrexham 1.
Carlisle unbeaten in 6. They've extended their lead against Leyton Orient. 4-0 now in League One thanks to James Berrett. 17 minutes to go at Brunton Park. And another side that have hit 4 at Blackpool. James Mason.
Yes, it's 4-1 to Blackpool now, Mark. So that spirited fight back from Fleetwood Town looks like it's been extinguished. To Matt Phillips, his second of the game. Still good atmosphere here, though. Blackpool fans away to my left in good voice, as are the Fleetwood Town fans. And with only miles separating these two seaside towns, it's unsurprising that this was a hotly contested affair. Lamana Luar, though, opened the scoring for Blackpool. 2 quick goals from Matt Phillips and Tom Ince made it 3-0. Jamie Vardy, who's been excellent this afternoon, got one back for Fleetwood Town. But at the moment, with 15 minutes left, it's Fleetwood Town 1, Blackpool 4.
Tamworth are 95 places below Everton in the English football pyramid, but you wouldn't have known that at Goodison this afternoon. Damien Johnson.
Well, no upset here so far, Chappers, but Everton far from comfortable at 1-0. Johnny Heitinger's first half header gave them the lead, but it doesn't look like a 90-odd gap, as you say, between the two. We've just seen a brilliant save from Tamworth keeper Joe Collister to deny Billy Letdinoff. The conference side have competed gamely, and Everton have a penalty as I speak. It's Drenthe, the substitute, pulled down. Tamworth dispute it, but this could be the killer blow for them. As I say, they've performed gamely here. Everton have thrown on some of the bigger names from the bench. They've got a penalty, and I think you're going to come back to me for the penalty. It's a penalty to Everton.
Yeah, come back to you for the penalty, because a penalty has been scored at Fulham. Jonathan Ledyard.
It's definitely on over. 3-0 to Fulham, 3 goals to Clint Dempsey. Fulham now coasting. The power of that second goal, really, because it changed everything. Charlton looks as if they're getting back into the game, but Dempsey's twinkling feet to make it 2-0 knocked them back, and now Dempsey from the spot after Ruiz was brought down has finished it all. Danny Murphy's just gone off after lots of abuse actually from the Charlton fans. Quite unexplained, really, because he served them OK, didn't he? 3-0, 10 minutes to go.
2 quick goals look like giving Hartlepool all the points against Rochdale. Luke James has put them 2 up. Back to the penalty at Goodison. Damien.
Yes, it's the substitute who is going to take this. Leighton Baines, who sends the keeper Joe Collister the wrong way. It's low into the Tamworth right-hand corner of the goal. It was a foul from the fullback Sam Habergan, pulling down Drenthe. Tamworth disputed it, but it looked like it was a pretty clumsy challenge. Baines has scored from the spot, and Everton look like they're home and dry.
Now, Steve Claridge tipped Swindon to win their game against Wigan. Matt Holland tipped MK Dons to beat QPR. They're very good at these pundits. Andy May.
We could have actually two bits of history made this afternoon, Mark. Since moving to Milton Keynes, MK Dons have never reached the fourth round of the FA Cup, and they lead 1-0 against QPR, who looked set to equal an old Leeds record for not winning a match in this competition for 12 years in a row. Dean Bowdwich is the score sheet on the score sheet so far after a low close-range effort this side of half-time. In the first half, the home side had a goal disallowed and a penalty appeal turned down as well. Federico Maceda's just been subbed on his debut after joining on loan from Manchester United. Neil Warnock has now used 4 strikers at Stadium MK, but it's not working. MK Dons 1, QPR 0.
Stranraer are going top of Scottish Division 3 this evening. They're 3-1 up at Montrose. Morecambe pulled one back against Northampton, who are next to bottom in League 2 through Kevin Ellison. Confirmation of Leighton Baines' penalty there. Why did you think MK Dons would get a result against QPR?
The MK Dons play some terrific football. I think Carl Robinson and John Gorman have done a great job there. They've scored 69 goals already this season before today, so they're always going to cause QPR problems. QPR have got a bad history in the FA Cup. I don't think they've won it a tie for 11 years. So for those reasons, I just felt that that was a really difficult game for QPR, and so it's proved.
And you have a theory, really, that there's a select band in the Premier League who aren't going to go down and who aren't going to challenge for Champions League places, who really ought to have a go at this competition.
Absolutely, they'll relish this competition. This will be a real bonus for them.
Everton being a prime example.
Everton, Fulham, West Brom, those sorts of sides that you wouldn't associate with going up or coming down should really look to do and progress really well in this competition.
Fulham deserve a lot of credit today. I mean, they've picked a really strong team. This is their 36th game this season, and yet they've still really taken it seriously and picked their strongest side.
I mean, we're saying that about all the sides, aren't we? They've all gone very strong. But what we also got to think about is they've also got very big squads, so they should be able to pick good players, shouldn't they?
Let's talk about a former Premier League club, shall we? As you can see on the video printer, it's been a very, very impressive afternoon for Blackpool. Another goal, James Mason.
Yeah, it could have been a potential banana skin, this one, couldn't it, Chappers? But Matt Phillips, and Steve just mentioned squad players. Matt Phillips has been in and out of the side for Blackpool. He's now got a hat-trick. It's 5-1.
OK, next, an all-Premier League tie, and this could go either way, couldn't it, Steve Sutton, watching Newcastle-Blackburn?
Yes, it's Newcastle 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. David Goodwillie with Blackburn's goal in the first half. An absolute cracker of an equaliser from Hatem Ben Arfa on 69 minutes. Anyone who can remember some of those dazzling runs by George Best way back then, well, his run was reminiscent of one of them. He weaved in and out of 3 or 4 Blackburn players and then absolutely blasted into the roof of the net from close range. It's been pretty much all Newcastle this second half, but it's in the balance, 1-1.
So Coventry were a goal up on Southampton at half-time. The Championship leaders got it back to 1-1, and now there's been a crucial third goal. Seth Bennett.
And they're going to be kicking themselves because Southampton lead here by 2-1. The ball into the box. There was Aaron Martin. He nodded towards the back of the net. The goalkeeper, though, Chris Dunn, stretched. He got a hand on the ball, but it rolled agonisingly over the line. Really unfortunate for Coventry, who've been punished for not taking their chances. They trail by 2-1, 7 minutes to go.
Auchinleck Talbot are from the West Super League, and they were 6 minutes from getting a draw at Tynecastle against SPL side Hearts in the Scottish Cup, but they have fallen behind. Hearts 1, Auchinleck Talbot 0, 6 minutes to go at Tynecastle. Crawley are 1 up on Bristol City in the FA Cup, but Lindsay Hooper, you've had a red card.
Yes, and it's been for Bristol City, so an interesting turn of events here. Stephen Pearson has been shown a second yellow for a challenge on Josh Simpson. Still, it's all Crawley, and it looks like they could be progressing to the 4th round. Bristol City have been knocked out in the 3rd round in the last 4 seasons, and with 10 men, they're going to struggle to get level here. It's 1-0 to Crawley.
Crawley set for another amazing FA Cup run. Remember last year, put out Derby, didn't they, on their way to a game against Manchester United at Old Trafford. To White Hart Lane next. Spurs against Cheltenham. Mark Webber.
Yeah, cheeky chip, a rebound in the box. Giovanni Dos Santos ending the dream for Cheltenham Town. Tottenham 3, Cheltenham 0. But the Gloucestershire side not really been slouches in this affair, defending robustly in the first half. And Russ Penn had 3 chances to put them ahead in the second half. It wasn't to happen. Michael Dawson is coming off now. He's back after an injury. Tottenham 3, Cheltenham 0.
think you could probably stick a fiver on Stenhousemuir to go out the Scottish Cup and, you know, you'd be fairly safe with that. They're 7-0 down at Ross County. Division 1 leaders, latest goal through Curtis Byrne. Stenhousemuir also down to 10 men in that game. To the Keepmoat Stadium, where we're on for a shock, aren't we, Adam Pope?
Yeah, we are. I'd put a fiver on Notts County making the third round for the fourth round for the third year in the row, Mark, because they're 2-0 in front against the Championship strugglers, Doncaster Rovers, and simply because Notts County want it more. Jeff Hughes with both the goals at the moment, one in the first half from the far post and the second after a penalty was given for a foul, well, on both Alan Sheehan and Alan Judge, and Jeff Hughes tucked away beautifully from the penalty spot with his left boot. It is Doncaster Rovers 0, Notts County 2.
Bit of a relegation battle that in League One, and Exeter look like they're going to win it against bottom of the table Chesterfield. Liam Sercombe with their second goal 3 minutes from time. Stevenage knocked Newcastle out of the third round of the FA Cup last year, and they look like knocking out Reading this year. Mark Bishop.
They certainly do, Mark. Reading 0, Stevenage 1. The Championship's most informed side. They're going out of the competition. Remember, they reached the quarter-final of the FA Cup for the last 2 consecutive seasons. The Darius Charles first half goal, the deciding factor, just going off to a standing ovation from the 2,000 travelling Stevenage fans. Hero of the game, no doubt about it. Chris Day, the Stevenage goalkeeper, fabulous save to deny Lafondra 2 minutes into the start of the second half. And then Antonio, how did he miss, skewing the ball wide, and then another terrific save from Day, this time to deny Simon Church. Reading 0, Stevenage 1.
League One leaders Charlton haven't suffered too much this season, but they are doing this afternoon at Craven Cottage. As you can see, Damien Duff with Fulham's fourth. Jonathan Ledyard can describe it.
He ran beautifully through the defence after some good work by Zamora, set him up, but even so he still had to finish, and he's been a revelation down this right-hand side when he came on, since he's came on as a substitute for Kerim Fry earlier in the game. So Fulham coasting now 4-0.
And Barnsley aren't going to get back on level terms now at Oakwell, are they? Harry Gratian.
I don't think so. Danny Graham just made it 4-2. They did very well, though, Mark, to be honest. They fought back from being 3-1 down to get back to 3-2 when Ricardo Bastei got his second goal. But Danny Graham's got his second. It's 4-2 now to Swansea.
2 for the afternoon, 8 for the season for Danny Graham. Queen of the South, bottom of Division 1 in Scotland. So a bit of respite from that. They've taken the lead against their fellow Division 1 side Partick in the Cup. And Dundee United have easily put away Airdrie this afternoon. They lead by 6 goals to 0. Very exciting game this afternoon at the Hawthorns in the FA Cup. West Brom against Cardiff. Steve Lee.
Yes, West Brom 3, Cardiff 2. 10 changes for Malky Mackay's side with next week's Carling Cup semi with Palace very much in mind. But his reserves haven't been disgraced here at the Hawthorns, losing out to the odd goal in 5 so far. Odin Wingy started the scoring for West Brom. That looked offside. Simon Cox forced in their second before a Cardiff fight back. Earnshaw and Mason levelling things. But a spectacular third for West Brom from Simon Cox has given them the lead. It could be only their third win at the Hawthorns all season. It's West Brom 3. Cardiff 2.
Now, the lowest ranked side left in are definitely going out of the competition this afternoon, but Salisbury have given their fans something to cheer. Alan Biggs.
They have. It's a 3-1 now. They've reduced the arrears, and I tell you what, they're attacking. So you never know. It could finish 3-2 or dream on after that. But Lloyd Macklin, on a substitute, has offered the first real attacking threat for Salisbury. And rather appropriately, from 20 yards, he's found the bottom corner to give Salisbury something truly to remember from their first ever appearance in the third round. It's 3-1, though, to Sheffield United.
To the Priestfield Stadium next, where John Anderson will be keeping his eye on the Gillingham chairman and the Stoke manager at full time.
Yes, there's no love lost at all between Tony Pulis and Paul Scally, but Pulis is smiling because Stoke City lead by 3-1 and last season's runners-up seemingly marching on. Just for a little while, Scally was smiling. The romance of the cup burst into bloom on 15 minutes when Danny Kebwell scored for Gillingham, but then a mistake by homekeeper Ross Flitney allowed John Walters to equalise. Cameron Jerome volleyed in the second 3 minutes before half-time, and it was ended as a contest 4 minutes into the second when Robert Huth headed in Palacios' corner. Since then, it's been comfortable for Stoke City. It's Gillingham 1, Stoke 3.
Steve, we heard earlier on when we were on the BBC HD channel that Paul Scally had written in his programme notes that he wasn't going to forgive and forget the arguments that he and Tony Pulis had. So even though that is Premier League against League Two, that will matter to Tony Pulis this afternoon.
Of course, I mean, as we say, sometimes you get people when it's a little bit, when it's acrimonious like that and it becomes personal, people in football have long memories, and obviously that one, that hasn't died a death yet. And that's a situation that, as I would imagine, when they come into contact with each other, will continue to fester. So, yes, Tony Pulis will go away from that, and I think there'll probably be a little bit more satisfaction, probably than normal, simply because of the way that it's been perceived between the two.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a bit of a nightmare for Paul Scally to say the things he did in the situation that happened. But Tony Pulis obviously will be delighted to have got the win today.
OK, Matt, thank you very much. The final whistles are going all around the country in the FA Cup. Although, I tell you what, we are going to go to a goal at the MK Dons because they are still playing. 1-0 up on QPR last time we were with Andy May.
It's now 1-1, Mark, and it's Heider Helgeson, Queen's Park Rangers' top goal scorer, who's got the goal, the equaliser in the last 2 minutes of normal time. An easy tap-in, really, from 6 yards out after a mix-up in the box involving David Martin, the MK Dons keeper. An initial effort he saved, and then he thought his defender was there to clear away the loose ball. In popped Helgeson. It's 1-1, and on the attack now, Luke Chadwick at the other end. MK Dons are desperate to win this one, but it looks like we're heading for a replay. 1-1 in the final minutes at MK Stadium.
8th of the season for Heider Helgeson. Matt, honestly. You told us that was going to be the giant killer.
Yeah, they'll have to win the replay, won't they?
Well, it doesn't count. You only get one shot. You only get one shot at this. All right, as I say, final whistles going all around the country. One's gone at the Moss Rose, Macclesfield Bolton. What an afternoon, Richard Askham.
Yes, Chappers, a cracking FA Cup tie this one. Macclesfield really pushed Bolton all the way on a heavy pitch after Colin Daniels' strike had cancelled out Ivan Klasnic's opener. The League Two side really played well and scored a fabulous goal. Arno Mendy spinning and volleying into the top corner from the edge of the box. Bolton pressed late on. Petrov hit the bar. Klasnic should have scored, but as befits the FA Cup third round, the romance is still very much alive, and although Macclesfield still have never made the fourth round, their dream is still deservedly alive.
So they couldn't quite do it, but Swindon could. Hamish Marshall.
They have. They've beaten Premier League Wigan by 2-1, pulling off a shot, bridging a gap of 53 league places, and the Premier League side, who made 9 changes, can have no complaints. They went ahead against the run of play when Callum McManaman followed up a missed penalty, but Paolo Di Canio's side were soon level with an Alan Connor header. Matt Ritchie may have thought he'd spurned their best chance when he blasted over from 6 yards, but it was his long-range shot which was deflected in by substitute Paul Benson. Only his second substitute appearance of the season, his first goal, and he's the hero. Paolo Di Canio's on the pitch praising his players because Swindon have beaten Wigan 2-1.
And let's go to the Amex because this is Championship against Conference and there's a replay on the cards. Andy Barwell.
Yes, there is. It's Brighton 1, Wrexham 1, and 5 minutes of stoppage time here. Brighton really forced to try their luck from distance, and to be honest, Wrexham more than holding out here at the moment. It's well done to Wrexham. They're playing really, really well, and they're not tiring at all. Brighton desperate not to go to a replay with this one, but it looks like it's going to be because it's Brighton 1, Wrexham 1.
OK, as you can see, Bradford have just pulled one back at Watford. Tony Lockwood.
They have by Nahki Wells, but it's too late, Mark. The other consolation effort from James Hansen. In the end, Watford made this look comfortable. Troy Deeney set them on the way. Marvin Sordell enhancing his growing reputation. 2 by Craig Forsyth and 4-2, and we're in the final minute.
No upset at Carrow Road this afternoon. The final whistle has gone there. Steve May.
No, Premier League class shining through in the end, but really up until the middle of the second half, Burnley were very much in this. Holt and Jackson had given Norwich a 2-0 lead within 10 minutes of the start. Rodriguez then pulled one back. Holt missed a penalty before half-time, but as Norwich turned the screws in the second half, Houlihan, Holt and Jackson all had a chance to make it 3 in the space of 4 seconds. Sermon did make it 3, and substitute Steve Morrison, with his first touch of the ball, made it 4. And Norwich are through to the 4th round of the FA Cup for only the second time in 9 years.
Cheltenham flying high in League Two, but Spurs were just too much for them. And this afternoon, did they give a good account of themselves? Mark Webber.
Oh, indeed. Spurs 3, Cheltenham 0. 10 changes for Spurs, but the scratch squad won in the end. But plucky is a phrase that you'd use for these guys in this game. They had 3 or 4 good chances, Cheltenham, and their keeper Scott Brown put in some great saves to keep the ball out of the back of the net for a bit more. Spurs 3, Cheltenham 0.
Oh, my goodness me. I wonder how big a goal this could be at St James's Park. Newcastle against Blackburn. Who's got what looks like the winner? Steve Sutton.
Newcastle United 2, Blackburn 1. Gutierrez skipping into the box, just lifting it over and advancing. Mark Bunn, close range. The crowd's gone crazy. Gutierrez has got out that famous Spider-Man mask. Newcastle 2, Blackburn 1.
Oh my goodness me! That's a bit. In many ways, it's a bigger goal for Blackburn than it is for Newcastle, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
as regards the pressure and the campaign.
Yeah, when you've got yourself in the lead like they had, and you're looking at a win, regardless of where they are in the Premier League, they would still have taken that because a win's a win, and it just gives you the confidence to go into the next game. So to lose it right at the very end like that, I think they'll be disappointed. But ultimately, they have a bigger target this season.
Yeah, this for Newcastle will be a competition that they feel as though they can win as well and do well in. So Blackburn, of course, as Steve said, their main priority is staying in the division.
All the clubs of Newcastle's ilk
Wigan
are winning, aren't they?
The bottom teams as well. Blackburn have gone out. Looks like Wigan have gone out.
But the middle road sides are winning their games.
But from everything that's gone on at Blackburn, you take the lead, you have it all level, you go into injury time because it just increases the pressure on what is already under fire.
It doesn't make his job any easier losing the game. If he wins the game, takes a little bit of pressure off him. Doesn't make it any easier. But in the scheme of things, they've got bigger targets, haven't they?
OK. Final whistle has gone at Hull. This was an all-championship tie. They were taking on Ipswich. Naz Premji.
Hull City 3, Ipswich Town 1. Here the full-time result. And the Barnby Army roll on into round 4, courtesy of goals from Aaron McLean and Tom Kenny in the first period. And a last-minute strike from Cameron Stewart in between those goals. Jason Scotland gave Ipswich a little bit of hope. It was a little bit of hope in all, because Ipswich have been very, very poor. The problems continue for Paul Jewell, coming up to a year in charge here, and Nicky Barnby will be confirmed as the permanent boss of Hull in the next few days. His side are in round 4 safely. Hull City 3, Ipswich Town 1.
Despite being down to 10 men, Inverness got that late equaliser against Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup. Inverness, Cally Thistle 1, Dunfermline 1, and Crawley's love affair with the FA Cup goes on. Lindsay Hooper.
It does. They make it through to the 4th round mark. It's finished here at full time, Crawley 1. Bristol City 0, but it could have so easily have been 4. And they hit the post twice in the first half through Simpson and Tubbs. It was Matt Tubbs that got on the score sheet and lost his ball over the top. He controlled nicely, coolly slotted past David James. And Tyrone Barnett, in the last few minutes, had all the time in the world to find the back of the net. He tripped over the ball slightly. A shame, really, but the goal score line doesn't reflect the true Crawley effort here, but it just finished. Crawley 1, Bristol City 0.
OK, and next, let's get the final whistle confirmed then at the Amex Stadium. Brighton against Wrexham. Andy Barlow.
1-1 here. Wrexham still have a chance of making it through to the 4th round for the first time in 12 seasons. The Conference Premier side deserved the replay when Adrian Chezovic with an equaliser cancelled out Jake Forster-Kaski's goal for Brighton. But Wrexham have only conceded 16 goals in 26 league games, and you can see why. No-nonsense defending from them. Championship team Brighton largely forced to try their luck from distance. In fact, it was Jake Spade who almost snatched it for the non-leaguers in stoppage time. Great save from Peter Brezovan. Real appetite for the FA Cup here. Over 18,000 at the Amex Stadium, including 2,000 from Wrexham. Full-time, Brighton 1, Wrexham 1.
QPR haven't won an FA Cup tie for 11 years, and that run goes on. Andy May.
It's finished 1-1. MK Dons thought they'd knocked out their Premier League opponents, but after a Dean Bodic goal, Heider Helgason equalised in the last minute of normal time. The top scorer for Rangers, tapping in from a close-range position after being brought on for Federico Makeda. In the end, Neil Warnock had to use 4 strikers against a really strong, attack-minded Dons side. Alejandro Forlín may not be around for the replay after being brought off on a stretcher towards the end of the match. We had a club record attendance at Stadium MK of more than 19,000 this afternoon. The final score, 1-1.
At Goodison, it finished Everton 2, Tamworth 0. Were the locals happy at the end, Damien Johnson?
Well, they got a result, at least Everton through, but the day really belongs to the conference outfit and their magnificent travelling support, 5,000 strong. An early header from Johnny Heitinger gave the Premier League side the lead. Tamworth were game throughout, the huge gap in the league pyramid hardly apparent. Joe Collister, their keeper, produced a couple of fine saves to deny Anachabi and Billy Letdinoff. When Drenthe was bundled over in the box by Sam Habigam, Leighton Baines made it safe from the penalty spot. Landon Donovan hit the woodwork before the end. No upset here, but full marks to Tamworth.
No upset at Bramall Lane either, but full marks to Salisbury, Alan Biggs.
Absolutely, they enjoy basking in the glow of 2,000 travelling fans applauding the players who've only now gone off the field after enjoying their moment in the sun, really, despite being eclipsed by a 3-1 defeat here. The solace of keeping the score respectable, also scoring the goal of the game, struck from 20 yards by substitute Lloyd Macklin, more really than the proverbial late consolation for the non-leaguers who could have been buried, really. The tie already won by Chris Porter, Ched Evans, and an own goal from Danny Webb, son of Chelsea Cup winner David Webb. Full marks especially the Salisbury keeper Mark Scott. For so long he kept them dreaming. Sheffield United 3, Salisbury 1.
And in the big Lancashire seaside derby there was no shock. James Mason watched Fleetwood Blackpool.
Yes, it ended Fleetwood Town 1, Blackpool 5. Prior to kick-off, Mark, this had all the ingredients for a potential cup upset, and the game started with Fleetwood on the front foot, but very quickly the Championship side found their feet. Lamana Luar opening the scoring. Quick second-half goals from Matt Phillips and Tom Ince made it 3-0 before Phillips got his second and third for a fine hat-trick, either side of a consolation goal from Fleetwood's prized asset Jamie Vardy. So the Cod Army's Cup heroics come to an end, Mark, as Blackpool advanced to the fourth round. Ended Fleetwood Town 1, Blackpool 5.
At the Riverside, it finished Middlesbrough 1, Shrewsbury 0. I'll be honest with you, Paul Addison, it doesn't sound like it was a thriller.
It wasn't the best. Magic of the FA Cup in short supply, Mark. On Teesside, Borough through only just. 1,000 Shrewsbury fans here this afternoon, and they almost saw their side earn a replay. Marvin Emnes put Borough ahead towards the end of the first half from a Mallory Martin cross, his 11th of the season. But good chances for the Shrews in the second half through Sean McAllister, Terry Gornell and Marvin Morgan in particular. They'll feel that they're unlucky not to take Middlesbrough back for a replay. But you can see why Shrewsbury are fifth in League Two and doing well. But Borough through, they won 1-0.
Was your game a thriller, Ivan Gaskell?
What do you think? 5 wins in 6 now for Derby, but they really did make hard work of it against a Carling Cup semi-final bound Crystal Palace, showing 7 changes ahead of Tuesday's big date with Cardiff. Theo Robinson gave Derby a promising start inside 9 minutes. It all rather tailed off after that. Just 10,000 here, well under 50% of Derby's average gate. Those that stayed away may well have shown some shrewd judgment. Derby rather laboriously through.
I think Andrew James is going to be equally enthusiastic about the game he watched.
Yes, Nottingham Forest 0, Leicester City 0. 18,000 here for this one, Mark. 8,000 of those from Leicester, but they'll have to work much harder to sell the tickets for the replay. I'll be painting a wall and watching it dry. They had 2 chances, Leicester, in the first half, both of those falling to David Nugent. Gallagher with a good chance in the second, but there was no way through for Leicester. Forest battled well, but have gone back to their difficulties in scoring goals. Forest 0, Leicester 0.
OK, this is final score. Let's get the full classified results now with Mike West.
Starting with the third round of the FA Cup with Budweiser. Barnsley 2, Swansea City 4. Birmingham City 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Wrexham 1. Bristol Rovers against Aston Villa is an evening kick-off at 5:30. Coventry City 1, Southampton 2. Crawley Town 1, Bristol City 0. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Millwall 0. Derby County 1, Crystal Palace 0. Doncaster Rovers 0, Notts County 2. Everton 2, Tamworth 0. Fleetwood Town 1, Blackpool 5. And Fulham 4, Charlton Athletic 0. Continuing with the FA Cup third round, Gillingham 1, Stoke City 3. Hull City 3, Ipswich Town 1. Macclesfield Town 2, Bolton Wanderers 2. Middlesbrough 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Newcastle United 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. Norwich City 4, Burnley 1. Nottingham Forest 0, Leicester City 0. Reading 0, Stevenage 1. Sheffield United 3, Salisbury City 1. Swindon Town 2, Wigan Athletic 1. And Tottenham Hotspur 3, Cheltenham Town 0. Two final results from the FA Cup third round. Watford 4, Bradford City 2. And West Bromwich Albion 4, Cardiff City 2. The Empire League 1, Carlisle United 4, Leyton Orient 1. Chesterfield 0, Exeter City 2. Hartlepool United 2, Rochdale 0. Tranmere Rovers 2, Brentford 2. And Walsall 2, AFC Bournemouth 2. The Empire League 2, Aldershot Town 0, Oxford United 3. Crewe Alexandra 3, Plymouth Argyle 2. Morecambe 1, Northampton Town 2. And Southend United 3, Port Vale 0. The Blue Square Bet Premier, AFC Telford United 3, Kettering Town 1. Alfreton Town 2, Grimsby Town 5. Barrow 3, Darlington 0. Bath City 1, Braintree Town 1. Gateshead 2, Stockport County 0. Kidderminster 3, Hayes and Yeading United 1. Lincoln City 0, York City 2. Luton Town 2, Newport County 0. And Mansfield Town 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. The Scottish Cup fourth round, Airdrie United 2, Dundee United 6. Cowdenbeath 2, Hibernian 3. Dundee 1, Kilmarnock 1. Falkirk 2, East Fife 0. Forfar Athletic 0, Aberdeen 4. Hearts 1, Auchinleck Talbot 0. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, Dunfermline 1. Livingston 1, Ayr United 2 is a latest score. Motherwell 4, Queen's Park 0. Partick Thistle 0, Queen of the South 1. Wraith Rovers 1, Greenock Morton 2. And Ross County 7, Stenhousemuir 0. Two more fixtures from the Scottish Cup fourth round, St Johnstone 2, Brechin City 1. And St Mirren 0, Hamilton Academical 0. The Irn-Bru Scottish Division 3, Annan Athletic 1, Clyde 0. Elgin City 3, East Stirlingshire 1. And Montrose 1, Stranraer 3. In the Carling Premiership, Ballymena United 1, Linfield 2. Carrick 0, Coleraine 4. Glenavon 2, Lisbon Distillery 3. And Glentoran 2, Portadown 2.
And there's one late kick-off, as you can see, in the William Hill Scottish Cup fourth round. Still playing. Livingston 1, Ayr United 2. Let's have a look at the tables, because there were games in League 1 and League 2 and the conference today. Huddersfield's 6-goal super show last night lifted them up to third as they took advantage of Sheffield United and MK Dons being involved in the FA Cup. Carlisle's hot streak continues and they are now in the playoff places. But the doom and gloom increases for rock-bottom Chesterfield. It's now 16 league games since John Sheridan's side tasted victory in the league. Rochdale slipped below Wycombe following their 8th away defeat of the season. Southend climbed to second in Empire League 2 following their 3-0 win against Port Vale. They're now just a point behind leaders Crawley, one of several teams on FA Cup duty today. Oxford's 3-0 win at Aldershot means they move into the final playoff spot. Plymouth lost 3-2 at Crewe and they remain rooted to the foot of the table, but Northampton beat Morecambe to claim their first win in 14 games. They're now level on points with third bottom Dagenham and Redbridge, who were in FA Cup action. And the top two were both in cup action today in the Blue Square Bet Premier, allowing third place Luton to close the gap slightly. They beat Newport County 2-0 and they're now 8 points away from top spot. Fourth place York kept place by winning 2-0 at Lincoln City. A 90th minute equaliser denied Bath victory against Braintree. They drew 1-1 and are 3 points adrift at the bottom. The only consolation for Bath is that the 6 sides immediately above them all lost. There is live football this week on the BBC and it's a biggie.
On the menu this week,
Maxi Rodriguez square and he scored again. It's Aguero.
Beautiful finish. Manchester City might just have nicked it.
They can almost taste the final.
2-0. Martin Kelly for Liverpool.
The League Cup semi-final, Man City versus Liverpool, Wednesday at 7:30 on BBC One.
And a reminder as well that there's highlights of the NFL playoffs on Monday night on BBC Two as the road to the Super Bowl continues. You'll also get live commentary from a couple of those games. As you can see, Giants against the Falcons and Broncos against the Steelers. Sunday night on 5 Live Sports Extra from 6 p.m. Back to the FA Cup. Swindon's win over Wigan is the story of the afternoon, I suppose, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the one that Steve tipped at the start of play. Well done, Steve. I had the MK Dons against QPR, and QPR equalised, of course, late on. But, yeah, it's a terrific result for Swindon. Paolo Di Canio, who I played with at Charlton, has done a great job there. He's got them playing some really good stuff, and that's a massive win for them today.
Yeah. Wigan have gone out. Blackburn have gone out. Bolton left it late. QPR skin of their teeth.
Yeah, I think we previewed it and we said, I thought the bottom sides would all struggle today. They have. Thought the middle of the road sides would go through. They all have. And probably, as we know, I mean, the top sides will battle out and try and win this competition. So it's gone pretty much according to plan. As you say, there have been 1 or 2 surprises that we've second-guessed.
The other one was Stevenage at Reading. That's a really good result.
Crawley.
I mean, they had a great win, didn't they? Run last year, Stevenage, in the Cup, beat Newcastle, of course, and are on another run now.
And Wrexham as well at Brighton. All right, Brighton Championship club. Wrexham from the conference, lead the conference. Any bit of money Wrexham can get is obviously a bonus. They get a chance to take Brighton back to their
19,000
people. 19,000. Their interest from both clubs.
Absolutely.
In it. We should give them a mention as well.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at the difference between 19,000 people and what their average gate is, it's probably equivalent to probably 5 or 6 home gates. They've got another game. That little bit of money that's come in could make the difference between them seeing it through and winning that league or not. So.
Yeah, and considering they lost their manager as well to Doncaster not that long ago, the way they just carried it on and seamlessly, really, has been very.
Tell Wrexham the competition doesn't matter.
Well, nobody said that. Nobody said that. Let's take a look at the fixtures for the rest of the weekend. In the FA Cup. Obviously on Monday it's Arsenal against Leeds United. Tomorrow it's 4 fixtures that are dominated by City and United in the Manchester derby. We've kind of touched on it a little bit before, but psychologically, which is always fascinating in sport anyhow, it would be a bigger defeat for United than City.
I think so at the moment, particularly in the form that the two sides are in. United have lost the last 2 league games. They're in a really difficult period. The Wayne Rooney situation seems to be ongoing. City, I think, have got the squad to deal with it. I think they're favourites for the league because of their squad size and because of the games they've got, particularly left at the Etihad Stadium. I think City are favourites tomorrow.
They've got the Carling Cup semi-final, City as well, so it's not the be-all and end-all if they were to go out of this game. There's more options for them certainly available, but you're right, if Man United were to win it, first time for a long, long time, they've lost 3 on the trot.
And what about Thierry Henry's return for Arsenal?
Absolute no-brainer for me. I think he's, obviously it's a situation where they're desperate to get someone in because of Gervinho and Chapman going to the African nations. He's a hybrid hero. He'll lift the crowd. I think they're sometimes quite, they struggle in the final third a little bit at times, and I think he will really help.
Oh, I think even if he's lost a yard, so they say, he's still got that predatory instinct, and it's just a tonic and a fillip for the whole club. And like you say, what it will do for the crowd and everything will be fantastic. So brilliant to have him back.
Yeah. OK, whatever you've witnessed this afternoon, there you can have your say with myself and Robbie Savage. 6:06, 7:20 on 5 Live this evening. Also listen to it on the BBC Sport website. Thank you very much to Matt and to Steve. We'll see you next week on Final Score. Bye-bye.